We're just about 30 seconds away. Good luck, everyone. Good evening. Welcome inside the Your TV studio. My name is Clark Heipel. I will be your host and moderator for this evening's debate. This is the Your TV, Your Vote Callander mayoral debate ahead of the October 24th election in municipalities across Ontario. And tonight we are concerned with Callander. We have all three mayoral candidates in our studio, and you will see them standing next to their podiums now. We have done a random draw to assume proper positioning, and on your left of your screen is mayoral candidate Darrell Vaillancourt. In the center podium position is mayoral candidate Gay Smiley, and to the right is mayoral candidate Rob Noon. There are the candidates there. The format for this evening will include 1-minute opening statements from each candidate, and then we will get into a question period where each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to answer the question, and then it will be open for debate. And we have plenty of questions submitted from community members as well as pre-recorded video questions from members of the community. So without further ado, I will read the biography for our first candidate at the left podium, Darrell Vaillancourt. Darrell and his wife, Michelle, have two wonderful daughters, are proud Northern Ontario residents living in the beautiful community of Callander. Darrell has served over 17 years on municipal councils and a wide variety of committees. Darrell has extensive experience and relevant skills as a small business owner, manager, professional executive, and volunteer on many local boards and commissions. Darrell is a licensed commercial pilot and an avid sports fan and nature lover. And he concludes by saying, for more information, please visit darrellvaillancourt.com. Darrell, you have up to a minute for your opening statement.
Thank you very much, Clark. Before I start, I just want to take a quick moment to thank everyone for their patience last night and allowing me to have time with my family. Sadly, we lost a very, very close friend, a lifelong friend. Also want to thank John Krieg and Dave Linke, who stood in for me last night when I had to leave the meet and greet. I want to thank the organizers, Brian East, Heather Bush, the municipal team for being there with information. And I also want to take a moment to thank Rob Noon, who showed how much incredible character he has as a human being and reached out to me last night when our family was really suffering. So my wife and I and our two daughters chose to live in Callander because we love this community. And we too love its charm. I have 17 years of experience as a counselor with 2 here in Callander. I own a business. I've been a senior executive with a large provincial charity. And I don't just have transferable skills. I already possess skills to be the mayor. I have the experience, and I'm ready to lead our community. Thank you.
And now we will read the biography for Gay Smiley. A longtime resident of Callander and daughter of Dr. Jack Smiley, former veterinarian and municipal politician in the city of North Bay. She spent her childhood at Smiley Farm in Callander and raised her family there. She is a superintendent of education for the Near North District School Board and served as principal throughout the region for 18 years, 6 of those as the principal of M.T. Davidson in Callander. Gay, you have up to a minute for your opening statement.
Thank you, Clark, and good evening. I've lived in Callander for nearly 35 years, and during that time, I've seen many changes. Callander currently sits at a critical crossroads where it could be vulnerable to the influence of larger communities and is at risk of losing that small town feel. COVID changed everything. Housing prices are high, and many properties have quickly changed hands. We have many new residents in the area who have come to Callander looking for an improved quality of life, and longtime residents of Callander who want to ensure that any development that occurs is carefully managed to protect the areas that they enjoy outdoors. Callander needs a strong leader who genuinely represents the constituents of Callander and prevails with a level head
5
and
seconds.
can adeptly lead council through some potentially difficult decisions. I am that experienced and skilled
And we're
leader.
at time. Thank you, Gay. We're now moving to candidate Rob Noon, and it's written in the first person. I was born and raised right here in Callander, and much of my family still lives here today. My wife Sherry and I have a daughter, as well as 2 local businesses, La Piazza and Noon Memorials. Noon Memorials is a business that has seen 3 generations, my grandfather, my father, and myself. I became a council member in 2000 and have participated on every council committee and contributed to each community plan developed by the municipality. I was appointed mayor in 2022 after the unfortunate passing of my friend and colleague, former mayor Hector Leving. Rob, you have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Thank you. I'd like to start by thanking you, Clark, for inviting us here tonight. And as you know, I am the current mayor of Callander. Throughout my 2.5 years as mayor, I have thoroughly enjoyed my position, along with its challenges and successes, and working alongside our tremendous staff. I have so many more ideas for our community and look forward to developing them with our team. I would be thrilled to have the opportunity to continue serving this amazing community we've worked so hard to build together. Thank you.
Thank you all for your statements, and we will begin the debate question of the evening with the first question, which will be started by Daryl. So, Daryl, the first question is, what would your plan be to grow Callander's population moving forward? And you have up to 2 minutes to answer this first question.
Well, I've been out talking to a lot of people, and I think in spite of what has been said, there's actually a lot of support for growth. Now, people are, they do talk about they want it to be planned and thoughtful growth. I actually had someone last night who, took the opportunity to speak to me before I had to leave and suggested that there was, they don't want to see high rises in the community. And quite frankly, I can tell you and all of the people watching that I don't want high rises in the community either. But we have to have growth. You have to have policies, and the official plan and the zoning bylaws that encourage people to build. I'll give you one quick example. I had an opportunity to speak to someone who was out on Tillicum Road, and this couple have 300 acres, and they weren't able to subdivide it more than twice for their children because the official plan says they can't subdivide it. So that's very regressive and insular policies that won't help Callander takes the next step. I think we're going to hear a lot about some fear-mongering that, if we allow any growth, that the community is going to simply fall apart, and that's not true. Our neighbors in East Ferris have record growth over the last few years, and in my opinion, I was in East Ferris just the other day, and I think it has just as much charm as it always had. So the suggestion that we can have balanced growth, that we can have infill, there are plenty of opportunities for infill to grow the assessment base and have people come to Callander. It's a very desirable place to live, and not capitalizing on that, in my opinion, is a mistake.
You're right at 10-second mark. So we're going to move the question to Gay. You have up to 2 minutes to answer the question concerning what would your plan be to grow Callander's population moving forward.
Thank you, Clark. My plan to grow Callander's population moving forward would be to look at what the official plan is guiding us towards. And certainly within the settlement area, we would need to look at the restrictions that we have to grow the population within that area because of the, for instance, the capacity of the sewage lagoons, which would create some restrictions for us. But looking outside into the rural areas, there's certainly lots and lots of opportunity for growth in the rural areas. And yes, we are absolutely aware there's people that have, large pieces of property, and we need to make that available to them to develop that. If we're following into the official plan, if we're looking at ways that we can do that, and the garden suites, for instance, would be something that it could accommodate additional family members in a compound type unit to keep families together as generations come together and leave and come back, and perhaps it might be something to look forward to our aging populations. But certainly the official plan needs to be, it's in update mode right now, and the zoning bylaws will have to be also updated that will match them. And when that's being completed, we need to ensure that we have opportunities for our residents to increase growth and to improve our population. Thank you.
Thank you, Gay. And Rob, the question is, what would your plan be to grow Callander's population moving forward?
Thank you. I would continue on the plans that I have been doing for so many years, is drawing more and more people to our community through the initiatives that we have put forward in our strategic plan. I feel the more beautiful the town is, the more recreational opportunities, the more businesses that we bring to our town will create that right atmosphere to bring more families to our community, as we have seen our community grow in the past and continues to grow. It is a place where people want to be. So it's to continue on with that. And as my fellow people have said, you got to link the official plan with the strat plan and all of our other plans to ensure that everything is put in place and carried forward to ensure all of these plans all come to fruition, to create that atmosphere to attract the business, to attract the families. Once you attract the families, the trick is going to be to have a balanced housing industry within our municipality, because I want to be able to retire here, and I need to be able to afford something that I can retire here in. So that is going to be the trick moving forward that I'm looking into, is to have that balanced housing industry within our municipality as we keep bringing people in, but we also want to ensure that people can stay in the town that they've helped build.
And this brings us to the open floor debate. So perhaps we can move off Gay's point of the lagoon capacity. Perhaps we can pick the conversation up there. Whoever wants to jump in, feel free to do so.
I'd jump in right away. So the sewage lagoon is another great topic. So there's obviously some misinformation that's been put out there. I think that's very, very unfortunate. I know there is one person that's up here that can speak directly to this as well as I can. So the sewage lagoons, it was in, I believe, 2016-ish. I might have my dates wrong. There was a problem with the sewage lagoon. So the MOE stepped in. They said, listen, we got to fix some of the challenges that are here to make sure that you have the right capacity and it's safe for everybody. So the capacity was taken back. They said, we got to get this thing fixed. So this council that I'm sitting on has been very progressive. We met with the MPP. The MPP has been wonderful to deal with, and we were able to get some work done onto some leakage around some manholes, and we got our capacity back. So what that means, we have our capacity back. We have over 200 units that we can add onto the lagoon. So we, as a community, that is one thing that we don't have to fret about right now. But what I mean by not fret is we don't have to be building a multi-million dollar, could be $100 million sewage treatment plant. That would bankrupt the community.
Go ahead, Gay.
But we do have to fret about it, because if you're aware of all of the plans that have been put forward, one of the biggest concerns is the capacity of the sewage lagoons. And with the capacity of the sewage lagoons, you're talking about that there's 200.
That's right.
Well, from 2018, there were a little over, with the 57 that are currently under development right now. Those are already spoken for.
Those
are already spoken for. Yes, you're absolutely right. But
Yep.
there's also an additional 249. Now, that's all for space within the settlement area where our current ratepayers who use those services, the water and the sewer, they're responsible for that. But we're talking about Band-Aids, and what we don't know,
Oh, no,
and you're
that's
right,
not
we
Band-Aids.
have, there has been lots of miscommunication about this, because we have been putting Band-Aids on it, and we've got a Band-Aid on it right now. That's not a bad thing, but EM4 is, they have the electromagnetic therapies in there looking to reduce
I would
the
consider
capacity
that
of
a
the
good
sludge.
investment for
Let's
the
have Daryl
community.
respond, and then I
Absolutely.
would like to get Rob's take on
That's
this.
a great investment for the community. What we have is it's technology in there right now that's free. All we have to do is a testing, which costs us very little, quite frankly. We want to extend the life of that lagoon. We have a lot of capacity for the next foreseeable future, but some people that are standing here this evening are talking about, I heard, let's just get on with it. Let's just build it. In the town of Erin, Ontario, a town of 10,000 people, it's costing them $126 million for a brand new sewage treatment plant. So if we want to be the quickest way to bankruptcy for the community, that's how you do it.
Rob, just a reminder, you can jump in whenever you like. This is open for
I was always taught not to just start yelling out, so I have a real hard time with that. Sorry. I'd have to agree with Councillor Vaillancourt. We are in a very good position here. We've taken steps over our past council, invested the money in infiltration. First, we had to identify the problem, so we had to spend money. And remember, all this money is on the backs of only 804, I think, Daryl, users. So you are limited at the amount of tax you can bring in to pay for these kinds of things. So the first thing we did was identify the problem, fix our infilling, fixed a couple of homes that their sub pumps were, going into our sewer lagoons, etc. Fixed our manhole covers. So we've invested those monies over years not to affect the tax rate as bad as it could be. We're in a good position right now. Even the MOE, I think they have a new acronym now for them. We're good for 10 years. The sewage lagoons themselves are good for, I think, another 25. So in the position we are in, our next council does not have to worry about it. But that does not mean that we sit back and not be proactive.
That's right.
There are things that we could be investigating, like a UV treatment. We're looking into an extra release out of the sewage lagoon that would give us that extra capacity, but then that goes to, we need an air filtration system that we are now currently looking at for a second time.
I want
like
to
the
just
final
go
word,
back.
and then we're gonna
Yes,
move
I'd
on.
just like to go back to a comment that Daryl had made, and I want to clarify for you. I have in no way, and I just want to put this out there for you, if you're thinking that I have said that we need to have a sewage treatment plant, that's not what I've said. If you've been watching my Facebook videos, I have said that it might be something that we have to consider. It might be something that we look at into the future.
We're going to move on to question number 2, and this will go to Gay first. Downtown Callander is in the midst of a multi-million-dollar redevelopment to improve both the infrastructure and overall appearance. Are you in favor of this, and what is your vision for the downtown? Gay, you have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you. Yes, I'm absolutely in favor of the revitalization of the downtown. It's something that is certainly worth investing dollars in, and what we need to do is to be looking at how we can attract businesses to the downtown that will want to stay in the community and invest in the community. And in order to do that, we need to be looking at ensuring that we are open for business, that we are becoming renowned for being open for business, and that we are able to cut through any red tape and help people set up business rather than to make it difficult for them, which is what I hear now is happening. I've had lots of opportunity to speak to people who have businesses in the Callander area, and they're concerned about the lack of assistance and support that they have been receiving from the municipality, and that's something that can be really easily changed. And in reading through all of the plans that the municipality has, and there's lots of wonderful plans, one of the things that is recommended is that a business association is started to support existing businesses and also to look at the possibility of attracting new businesses. I mean, if we have commercial space in the downtown area, for instance, and we want it to be of a certain ilk, i.e. an appropriate business, then we need to be looking at who can come into that space and to open up a retail shop or some sort of a service that would be amenable to the people of Callander. Thank you.
And same question to Rob concerning the multi-million-dollar downtown redevelopment. Are you in favor, and what is your vision for the downtown?
I'm certainly in favor of it. It's part of our plan. I'm so excited to see it finally come to fruition. We've been planning that type of development for years now, and finally with the government grants that we got, we were able to do that. I think that's the first step. Second step, the first step was the dock, the second step was the the Lansdowne. You have to, in my opinion, you have to build the infrastructure that allows the businesses to come. The taxpayer only has so much money to do so much with it. And you have to really target and plan what the municipality can build to encourage and have the right infrastructure to encourage the businesses to come. And that's what I've been trying to do with the downtown waterfront revitalization plan. The snowflakes, all of that is to encourage more customers. Every business out there requires customers. So if I can bring the customers in, you have the infrastructure that the businesses can build their businesses within, you have the rules, the policies and procedures in place that support them. That's what I've been trying to achieve, and that's what we're trying to do. And that will one day include the hub with the library in it down at the dock. Yet another destination, bring more people, attract the businesses to take advantage of those people.
You mentioned the library. We will get to that in a little bit. But first, Daryl has the question. It is the downtown multi-million-dollar redevelopment. And are you in favor moving forward? What do you see?
Thanks, Clark. So 100% yes. You know, the only caution I would throw in there is that we have to be mindful of the pace that we're going at. Like, there's everything, I think it all should be done. But the municipality of Callander's an $8 million annual budget. At the end of 2022, we're going to have $1.6 million in debt. So we just have to be careful that we don't overburden this taxpayers, because there's only so many of them and we have very little growth. But specifically with the municipality, they must be good partners and good neighbors. The municipality should never start with no, rather with how can we help? How can we work together for everyone's success? We should be meeting with our business leaders, and if I'm elected, I'll be hosting biannual meetings. And we must listen to their concerns and act on them. That's very, very important. We need to keep their taxes and residential taxes as low as possible. We could promote their business on the website and social media. And it was alluded to already, they need good roads, reliable water, and clean public areas. One of the most effective ways of showing municipal support, because that's what we're talking about, is to get out of their way. A successful business will inherently add vitality to any community. I want to see continued investment in that downtown, like I mentioned, and Centennial Park. I feel like they go hand in hand, and more events to draw people. The community does a great job with their events, and I hope there's more to come. We need to remember that council creates the right environment for businesses. We're not in the business of doing business. We're there to set policy and governance. And if we do all of this, it'll spur confidence and help support the growth of our commercial sector. Thank you very much.
Hold the debate. We will get to that in shortly, but we're going to tie into our first video question of the evening. We head to the patio of Lulu's Bar and Grill.
Hello, my name is Jeff Gauthier from Lulu's Bar and Grill in Callander. And I have a couple questions for the mayor candidates. One is, do you think that the downtown Main Street area is healthy and successful? And if not, what would you do to change it? And my second question is, if you were to receive a provincial grant for the municipality, $1 million grant, what would you do with the money? And how would you spend it?
That from Jeff Gauthier of Lulu's Bar and Grill. Rob, you have first crack at answering this question from Mr. Gauthier.
Oh, all right. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I do think we have a core set of businesses that have managed to have, I'd say, their niche. They know and understand what our community brings, so they've been able to survive there for many years. It's just to keep creating that infrastructure, in my mind, the beautification, the draws that bring people downtown to take part in even like Lulu's deck, right? Having a place like that. That's the atmosphere that we're trying to create. So yeah, I think we're okay, but I think it's as Daryl says, I'm not out there looking for specific businesses. I'm trying to build a place where those businesses will be attracted to, with the proper infrastructure, with the proper rules that bring them to take advantage of the customers that will be there.
Thank you, Rob. Over to Daryl now.
Thank you. So, specifically, is healthy and successful. My answer, quite honestly, Mr. Gauthier, would be I think it's somewhat. And the reason I say somewhat is, we touched on about the environment for the downtown. It's really important. I talked about that infrastructure, and I think we'll hear that a lot tonight. So, in Callander right now, we're doing work on Lansdowne down in front of Harper's Marine, actually right in front of Lulu's. If we don't do that kind of thing, and make sure that there's clean, reliable water and there's a road to get to these businesses, it will exacerbate some of the challenges we're having. It's been shown time and time again, and it's been talked about here this evening. If the community is beautiful, if people want to gather there, if the marina is ready to have boats in the summer, we have snowmobiles in the winter. If you've been in Callander during the winter, it feels like every ice fisherman in North Bay area is there, and those are things that we can capitalize on. And to the grant for the $1 million, what I would do, if we were fortunate enough to have $1 million, and I have every intention of doing this with the team on council, is a community improvement plan. The official plan is proposing it, and I'm really worried that it may be taken out. There are some that I don't think might be as progressive. I think we can leverage the $1 million, we have some reserves, and we can make it perhaps 1.2 million, maybe a little less, maybe a bit more. What it helps doing is things like facades. So Mr. Gauthier is a great example. So if he came with a proper business case and he said, Council, here's the things I'd like to do to improve my business, there's a program there to help. Those are policy-driven things that can help his business and the other businesses. And I mean Main Street from the very front, all the way from the very beginning of Main Street, all the way down to the other end. Thank you so much.
And Gay, you have a chance to address this question from Mr. Gauthier.
Thank you, Jeff, for the two-part question. Yes, I would agree that it is partially a safe and healthy downtown. We need to continue to improve the infrastructure. I know that that's been touched on already by my two gentlemen candidates. And it's important that we continue to have a healthy plan that we're able to follow in the years to come, because we cannot be building new infrastructure without a plan to be maintaining it into the future and to have capital dollars set aside to do so. As far as and going over to something that one of my colleagues here had said about with the $1 million, the downtown aesthetics absolutely could continue to be improved. And I know we're always referring to the quaintness and charm, but that's something that requires consistency, and there needs to be consistent application of all of the policy and procedure. There cannot be some procedures or policies applied in one way to a certain set of businesses and another to another business. And I think that that is something that I've heard very clearly from constituents, is that they want to have that consistency and they want to ensure that there's that follow through into the future. And that really boils down to the accountability and transparency that is currently lacking.
Thank you, candidates. We're going to open this up for debate. Any candidate wishes to jump in can do so. Perhaps we can go to, is there proper outreach and collaboration with businesses affected by this redevelopment?
I'll jump in. I should have mentioned the other program that I really think is critical to Callander is a BR&E, so Business Retention and Expansion Program. So anybody in the economic development field will tell you one of the best ways to grow business is to help the businesses that do exist grow and be stronger. So I did mention, Mr. Gauthier, that I have every intention of meeting with leaders like you at least twice a year and hearing your concerns. I don't think that there's necessarily this idea, the suggestion that there's no transparency. I mean, municipalities have a lot of rules to live by, and even a community improvement plan has to be wrapped up in the official plan. The government has to approve it. We have to budget for it, so it's not something that comes overnight. But if you put a community improvement plan, you put a business retention and expansion program, plus the fact that Callander is the place that people want to be. We
I
moved there.
absolutely agree with
My
you
family
there.
and I moved to Callander because it's an amazing place.
It is
and
an
we're
amazing
not the
place.
only
and I think
people that want to be
I
there.
want to go back to something that you
And
had
we
said
can't
earlier.
pick and choose. We can't pick and choose who's going to move to the community, and that's kind of how
One of
it's
the
feeling.
things that you had touched on was the snowmobiling, and I think that for our downtown area and the safe and healthy downtown, that we are missing a huge opportunity with the huge influx of people that are not only local but come from all over to enjoy the little community that's set up out on the lake. And I believe that we could look at how that could be, how we can capitalize on that. And if you look at the number of pieces of garbage and all of the debris that comes up from there in the springtime once the lake melts, there are definitely some things that we can do there to improve what's happening downtown, to attract people down there, but to also look at, we put a lot of money into, say, snow plowing for that parking area in the winter. And if we look at the possibility of putting portable washrooms somewhere so that we can, reduce that debris, because when people are going out into the lake, they are creating all kinds of debris and then not bringing it back with them. And I think that there's an opportunity for business that we can capitalize on, as I'd mentioned.
Thank you, candidates.
Can I try one little thing?
Yes, you can. Then we're going to head to break. Go ahead, Rob.
As Councillor Vinecourt said, like years ago, I forget how many, like 4 or 5 years ago, we did get all the businesses together in our downtown core at Lulu's and discussed what we were, as a municipality, were doing and how they all see us move forward, so that we can get together, get all the ideas and move forward together. So that is another thing that I definitely want to do, and we were planning on doing it, but with COVID, etc. We know through our asset management plan, that's another thing that the municipality is doing and has done, is our infrastructure is going to be good and it's going to be sustainable. That is a given now. We are tying in our parks, and we just went through our recreational facility. What was it called,
The
Daryl?
Parks and Recreation
Master plan. Yeah, master plan. And it identifies what each part. And I say, like, what part, like, how the Centennial Park, what does it do for our downtown core? How does it draw people into our downtown core? So those are those things that we've been doing in the background with the paperwork to build that framework of success for our businesses. And as Ms. Miley said, it's to create a level playing field for them all. And that is really what a businesses all want, is that level playing field. So.
Thank you for that. We are going to head to a break, but we do have plenty of pressing issues, including aging municipal buildings, policing, as well as social issues. Stay tuned to Your TV's Your Vote with the Callander mayoral candidates. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your TV's Your Vote, featuring the 3 mayoral candidates for Callander. And we roll right into our next video question. We find ourselves on Catherine Street in downtown Callander.
My name is David Ballard. I'm a current board member with the Callander Public Library. My question: the current library building is no longer meeting the needs of the community. What specific plan to replace the current building would you support if you were mayor?
What was his name?
And this goes to Daryl.
I missed his name. I'm sorry, Clark.
That was David Ballard from
Mr.
the
Ballard, okay.
Callander Library Board.
Okay, thank you very much. So I want to be very clear on my position with the library. It appears that some people have chosen to put words in my mouth, and that is very unfortunate. The best person to ask my opinion is me. I support what the library means to the community, and I support the value of the library. But our collective challenge is the project has completely stalled. Last night, Mr. Ballard did come and talk to me before I had to leave, and projections, he was talking about $4.5 million. What I've heard is it could be up to $6.3 million and located on our most valuable waterfront property. We may get federal and provincial money, maybe, but in my experience, these funds often come with costly conditions and could realistically double that project to $12 million. This would represent the single largest capital project this community has seen in years. So what do? My very first external meeting will be with the library board and staff. I want to know their plan moving forward and what options we have. The easiest thing to say is we'll build it. And from what I've seen, there's been lots of empty promises and absolutely no action. I want to take a leadership role instead of using this topic as another wedge issue. Thank you.
And Gay, we're going to move to you. If elected mayor, what specific plan to replace the current building would you support? And this is concerning the library.
Thank you. And thank you for the question, David Ballard. It's an important question because this is something that the Callander Library Board has been looking to move forward for 20 years. I recall back in 2002 when the library started fundraising for the new library. The current space is it's not only too small for all of the units that they currently have, but it doesn't serve the public as a community hub in the way that it could be serving Callander. I absolutely support putting the library into a new space. So, it would be great to be able to put the library into the Callander waterfront development. And I am aware that there is a motion that's on the books from 2017 when VG Plus Architects had designs for a 10,000 square foot library and community hub. And at that time, my understanding was that it would be in the least desirable portion of land in that municipal waterfront property, but it was also going to, at that time, was costed out at $6 million. It would be $2 million for the site development and $4 million for the actual build of the library. Now, I would agree with Mr. Viancourt that that number is no longer viable, and in fact it's probably double if not triple that by now. So we also need to look at where else that we could put that library, and there's a number of buildings that we have within the municipality that are underutilized. That might be something worth looking at.
Thank you, Gay. And question moves on to Rob. If elected mayor, what's your plan for the new building of the library moving forward?
Thank you, and thank you, David. I'll continue to be doing what I've been doing for the last few years. Currently, we are looking at how we can find a developer to help us develop the entire parcel of land and thereby help build and bring the price down of the new library / hub. And I say / hub is because we've all agreed as a council that we definitely need a new library. It's just in the size or form of it, and I've always believed, I went away with the library board, investigated what other municipalities, how they're taking advantage of libraries nowadays, down in Huntsville, Scugog, and what they've been doing is becoming a community hub, where the community can gather. You get to learn. Not all of us have iPods and all that, iPhones, and it's a great place for our youth to go down there and have that opportunity to do their homework, to gather, even to after school, to wait for their parents to come home. It's a destination for our tourists to go, a Wi-Fi hub. So I'm trying to build a community hub that we can take advantage of, more than just a library, but an actual destination. It is always going to come down to the price tag, how much our residents can afford. And that's why I was looking at, we need a library. How best can the municipality take advantage of that at that library? All those programs that they do so well for our community, why not augment them, make it even better, make a bigger draw, and bring more and more people to our downtown core?
Shifting into an open debate, before we have any more comments, the library isn't the only facility needing replacement. We have the town hall, Fire Station 1, the public works yard, and the library. So how does one manage that? Anyone can jump in.
Well, I can tell you that we're well aware of those challenges. There's reports that identify. You talked about the ops building, the fire hall, admin. I mean, the admin. We've even considered taking council chambers out of there because we don't have enough room for the team. The estimate that both Rob and I saw, this was a pre-estimate. This is an architect, local architect, very reputable architect, was estimated at $15 million to move ops, admin, and fire across from Swale Street over on the other side of Callander Bay Drive. And again, there is a need there, but we are an $8 million annual budget. $1.6 million in debt is what's coming by the end of the year is where we're going to be. So I think we need to look at these things. We got to be very careful at the pace that we do it. And when you have preliminary drawings, that's not including the groundwork and all of the unexpected that's going to happen. Another thing I'd like to add about the ops building, because I'm sure there's a suggestion, well, we'll simply sell that off and we'll have someone else buy it. Now, I don't think we should sell it to somebody who has a construction business, because I don't think the neighbors would very much like to have more heavy equipment behind them. I think there may be environmental issues with the ops. There's been years and years of operations there, so it may not even be sellable. We may have to make a parking lot out of that place. The admin building
could use more downtown parking, and I think that that's been clearly identified in all of the plans that have been developed. You look at the ops building and let's look at the storage of the salt and the sand, for instance. I mean, that is situated so close to the lake that it is known that there's some leaching into the lake from that area. And yes, it would, in order to disperse that property, if the three buildings were to be consolidated into another area, that property would likely require some environmental testing, and then some removal of some of the surface land. And if you're looking at the health and safety reports and the just what's necessary for the municipality to operate, they're currently paying for 3 services. If you look at the space that's being rented at the plaza, and it's not efficient the way things are running. So it does make sense to have them all into one space. And as far as where you're going to get the money from, absolutely, it's not going to come from the annual tax base.
Lots of money.
Absolutely is not where it comes from.
Do these projects.
It has to be from another source.
Lots. $15 million pre-estimate. $15 million as an estimate.
So that's why you really have to, as Councillor Vaillancourt said, you really have to have that plan in place on how you're going to get from point A to point B. Know what you're going to do with the old lands. I'm not too sure there is actual leaching
I
out of the thing. I haven't heard that one, and we've always mitigated that stuff. But it's always going to come down to that essential planning portion of knowing where we want to be in 5, 10, 15 years. I've done that over and over again. This is just part of that first step of deciding that together it would seem to save us money to get everything together, right? And then how we're going to come up with the funds to actually fund that over a period of time. Because I'm not into like debenturing that kind of money or anything like that. Like, we really got to put our mind to it, how we're going to accomplish that task.
Moving into the next question, Gay, this will be for you to start. In the past 4 years, the municipality of Callander has switched over from North Bay Police Service to the Ontario Provincial Police. How have things changed, and are you satisfied with the level of service? Gay, you have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you for the question. Am I satisfied with the level of service? Not having had to actually use the service, I would have to say that I am neither satisfied nor satisfied at this point. However, it is most unfortunate how that policing contract came to an end with the North Bay Police Services, and we were left with no opportunity to continue it with the North Bay Police Services once the talks with the OPP began. And I think that was really poorly handled by the current council, and as a result, it has, potentially left the residents of Callander very vulnerable, because they weren't left with the choice in the end. It was the OPP, because of how the talks had materialized.
Thank you. Rob, you're next up to answer this question, up to 2 minutes. Are you satisfied, and how have things changed under OPP watch?
Then we'll debate the rest.
Then we'll move on to Daryl. So you have up to 2 minutes.
I am very satisfied with the OPP. 100%. The switchover has been seamless. I have had nothing but good remarks from our taxpayers about how much they're around our municipality, how much in the rural they've been seen. So yes, especially the bill, very, very satisfied with it. Moving forward, we're going to have to negotiate with them once they figure out exactly our level of service that is required. But even looking forward, it seems to be that it's going to be well within our range and below what it used to be. So very optimistic with the whole thing.
And we shift the floor up to 2 minutes for Daryl.
So, I think we need to focus in on some facts on this particular subject. So, first of all, let's say North Bay Police Service is an incredible service. I actually have many friends on that service. They do great work, and it was great while they were there. The municipality was meeting with the police service. Let's get this perfectly clear. There was many, many meetings. They actually took the contract. There was no notice. We just basically got a letter saying, guess what? We're discontinuing policing in the community. I believe that's on them. So what happens when you're a municipality anywhere in Ontario, if you don't have your own police service, you default to the OPP. We didn't have a choice. The price tag, and we talked about that, is much, much better than anticipated. And another fact that we need to stay focused on, because there seems to be lots of misinformation this evening, we're actually building a reserve fund, because there will come a day, there's talk about provincial legislation changing, but we will have money in the bank to make sure that we continue the service. Another piece of North Bay services compared to OPP, when there was a big enough emergency, and by that, I don't want to classify one in particular, but your regular everyday policing is done mostly by the cruisers, and they're out patrolling. But when something major happened, North Bay didn't have the capacity to do those big things. They would call the OPP regardless. So they had the K9 unit, they had all of the extra things to provide services to the community. So the suggestion that, this all fell apart, we didn't do a good job, and that they're maybe not good, maybe they are, I mean, that's I think a poor thing to say. The OPP is a wonderful organization. They were fantastic to deal with, and I hope we have a long-standing relationship.
10 seconds left.
Thank you.
It's open to debate.
I will just jump in here, and I want to clarify that this is not misinformation. It's widely known, and I absolutely think that both the OPP and the North Bay Police Service are absolutely wonderful. It was how things were handled. It has nothing to do with anything else.
They canceled the work.
They did.
We
Exactly.
didn't do it. We were negotiating with
That's why,
them.
because of
No,
things were handled.
it's
It's
incorrect.
widely known, Mr.
It's
Vinecourt.
incorrect. I don't think you were in those meetings.
No, you weren't in those meetings, and you are incorrect. I was in those meetings. It had nothing to do, and you're just listening to North Bay news. It had nothing to do with us reaching out to the OPP. They canceled. We were in negotiations on how we were
But the
going
OPP,
to move forward with
you default to the OPP because there has to be a police service.
I can only tell you the truth.
Right. Okay.
Shifting to our next question, and this involves both North Bay and Callander, so this is fitting. The past 4 years has seen growth along Pinewood Park Drive. Could Callander's municipal boundaries become blurred? Could you ever see a time where amalgamation with North Bay would make sense? And this goes to Rob first.
Short answer, no. I believe we're a very distinct community on by ourselves, and that we're developing ourselves as a destination. We've always heard from the residents whenever I've been in any of the community meetings with the residents to keep our town the same way, and that would not work out if we amalgamated with North Bay. We would lose our intrinsic values, how we are, the quietness of our town. So no, I can never see that happening.
Daryl?
No is the simple answer. You know, I think what we need to remember is they are our neighbors. You know, they are our neighbors. Literally, the border shared with them. Cranberry Trail shares one side is North Bay, the other side is Callander. So we need to be good neighbors. We need to work with North Bay, East Ferris, Nipissing, Mattawa, all the region needs to work together. So, you know, when this topic comes up, it's another divisive issue. It's that suggestion that we're going to get gobbled up by North Bay. Well, I'm standing here telling you I have zero interest in that. I served on North Bay Council for 4 terms, 15 years. I love the identity of Callander. It will remain Callander. I have no desire to be a bedroom, you know, like the next community that's just outside of North Bay that doesn't really get the services. We have it really, really good in this community. So being good neighbors, never blurring the lines, and making sure we keep our identity.
Okay, over to you.
Absolutely not. That we want to keep our own identity. We have a different identity as every surrounding municipality and the city of North Bay does. What we want to be very careful of is that we don't replicate some of the practices that are currently happening in North Bay and some of the decisions that have been made by the North Bay City Council that have been decisions to some degree decisions of self-interest, and I think that would be a very, very dangerous place to go in our municipality, is to bring some of those practices here to Callander. We don't want that.
And we're going to move on to our next question. This involves public transit. With communities moving towards greener mandates, where do you stand on public transit service being provided in the municipality of Callander? Daryl, you go ahead.
That's actually, I've had a few people talk to me about that. You know, I've been out meeting and talking to people. It's my belief that we don't have the assessment base to afford public transit. I believe, and I'm sure Mr. Noon can speak to it, but I believe it was tried. I might have been on the North Bay Council at that time. It's very costly. And, you know, North Bay wouldn't be in the business of doing it for nothing. They will want to recoup their costs. You know, to have public services down in Callander, Ontario, I don't think that's on the horizon anytime soon. We have some old infrastructure that was probably there. I know I've seen a couple bus stops. All of that would have to be renewed. So it's more than just the bus coming down and turning the corner at Lansdowne. And I'm just using that as an example. There's other things that we need to think about. They have certain standards to live by. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. It wouldn't be part of my conversation, not for this first term.
Okay, is there any room for public transit in Callander?
There certainly is, and when I think back over the years of the number of times or the number of iterations of transportation, from North Bay to Callander and back again, there have been many. In fact, I remember from when I was a kid, I used to bury my quarter underneath the stop sign at the north entrance into Callander so that I could get on the bus after I was finished riding my horse at our farm where I spent my childhood, and take the bus back into the deluxe bus at that time back into the city of North Bay. And I know that I've seen over the years there have been a number of transportation services. There's been shuttle buses and taxis, and yes, there certainly is a desire for some residents to have that. It is something that we may not have the assessment base for. But now that the bus from North Bay comes right up, to the casino, I mean, it's getting closer and closer. It's not that far away, really. It might be something that we could look at for the future.
Over to Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, we've looked at it twice in the past, and the cost was not, as Councillor Vaillancourt said, it just wasn't cost effective for North Bay to do it and for us to subsidize it. So instead, we did subsidize our taxi service to try to give that option and get people up at least to Nipissing Junction. So we did subsidize that for a number of years and tried to get the numbers, see who was taking it, age group and why they were taking it. So we've done that, and the numbers just don't support it. It's something that we look at every now and then as part of our plan. There might be opportunities with the casino, say, to shuttle people up there, but that would really be on the casino's end of it, right? There might be opportunities for them or Northgate to shuttle back and forth, because I know that's done in another community. But then you got to watch, if you're trying to create your downtown core and everybody shops in your downtown core, well, you can't very well have them shuttling out to a Northgate, right? So it's something to keep in mind as our numbers grow, but right now I don't see, unless we redo the subsidies for the taxi service, that it's in the cards right now.
Unless there's further comments, we're going to head to a break. Much more coming up on the Your TV, Your Vote Callander mayoral debate, but first, we'll pause. Welcome back inside the Your TV studio for the Your TV Your Vote ahead of the October 24th municipal election. This debate focusing on the mayoral candidates for Callander. We head down to Lansdowne Street, Veterans Way, as we hear from Deborah Hickey of the Callander and Area Food Bank.
Hi, my name is Deborah Hickey. I'm a volunteer and treasurer for the Callander and District Food Bank. My question for the mayoral candidates is this. Callander and District Food Bank has been an integral part of the community for the last 12 years. Previously, Callander Municipality has donated $500 annually to the food bank, which we are eternally grateful. Our demographics have greatly changed and our numbers have doubled. Currently, we have 53 children in our clientele. How will your support continue for the Callander and District Food Bank, and what would that look like? Thank you.
This question posed to Gay Smiley first. Gay, that is Deborah Hickey from the Callander and District Food Bank.
Thank you very much, Deborah, for the question regarding the food bank. Unfortunately for communities and for the municipality of Callander, food banks are necessary for the support of children and families. And I absolutely agree that support should continue so that the Callander Food Bank can continue to stock its shelves and to thrive. There might be a need for a review of the structure of the food bank, and because we don't expect that there's going to be any kind of a decrease in the number of clientele coming to access the service. And so we probably, it may be worth having a look at how we can just slightly improve structures to ensure that the food bank has shelves that are stocked, and perhaps reach out to the community, through communication, through events and activities that are planned to assist with stocking those shelves at the food bank, to ensure that all of our children and families are fed, and that they're able to continue on with their lives in a way that we would expect everyone to have access to.
Rob, over to you concerning the Callander and District Food Bank. How would your support continue if elected?
Well, it would absolutely continue. It's a very important resource for our municipality. It does an amazing job for our municipality, and if there is a need for more money from us, they would just have to come in and talk with us about it. But even a deputation would be helpful for especially a new council they're the best ones to tell us what they need and how we can help. So that's what I would be looking and suggesting to them, that they come and do a deputation to us, and so that we would be better informed.
Over to Daryl.
Thanks, Clark. I'd like to say first, Ms. Hickey, I really appreciate everything that you do. I want to thank you on behalf of the community. I want to thank the volunteers. I want to thank the supporters and the donors. Without all of you and all those people that realize how critical food banks are, not just in Callander, but sadly across the region, the province, across Canada. If it wasn't for those people, a lot of people would be harder off than they are right now. The food bank use is a problem in our community. It's a problem across Canada. Things like inflation. It's no secret, it was talked about by Mr. Noon, housing is becoming a real challenge. I have two young daughters are at that point in their lives where a home might be out of reach. And now there's some people who housing, they're choosing whether it's rent or food. Like how sad is that we, this is happening in our communities. The 53 children that you mentioned, the younger people that are coming for the services, they're tied to other people, often their families. So there's not just 53, there's a disproportionate amount of people that need that service. You know, as the mayor, I agree that having a deputation coming to council and sharing your concerns, I think that's a wonderful idea. That's a great first step. It also helps to get the public aware of what's happening. And as the mayor, I would make it a priority to shine a light on the needs that you have. So whether you have events or you need me as the community leader to be there to help, I'll be in the front of the line. So I'm really happy for the question, Ms. Hickey, and I look forward to working with you.
And just to bring a debate forward, she mentioned $500 a year. If lucky, that might stretch a week for the services they offer. How much would you be willing to commit to support the food bank?
Want me to start? So yeah, I'll start. So the $500, that's absolutely yes. But we have to be, again, we have taxpayers' dollars. We have to watch every single penny that we spend on their behalf. And whenever you're increasing, you have to take from somewhere. So there's only so much money that the municipality has. But what I love to hear from the food bank about how we can do better. Is there more funds? Are there programs? There's lots of times that we can access funds and leverage them for more. So I'm a big supporter, and I would do everything I could to help.
I absolutely agree that $500 really is a paltry amount when you're looking at food, especially these days with the price of food and the type of food that can be purchased for a small amount of money. How much money would I be willing to kick in? Well, that would be dependent on what was requested and what was available. And going to agreeing with Mr. Vinecourt here, we if we take from one piece, we are going to have to give to another, and so there's only so many pieces in the pie, and we need to ensure that we are taking care of all of the needs that we have within our community, but especially the needs of those who are most vulnerable.
Unless there's no further comments, we'll move on to
I would just say, I do agree with that. I really do agree the starting point is a deputation so that we can, council can identify and understand the problems, what affects it all, and then we can come up with a plan together to access possible other funds and see what the dollar amount would be that we could discuss in a budget to see how that we could make that all work. So start a plan.
We'll be going back to you, Rob, to answer this question first. It's concerning the casino. We mentioned the boundary between North Bay and Callander along Pinewood Park Drive with the Cascades Casino located there. We know that North Bay gets a share of the revenue allotted for whatever the municipality seems fit. Could Callander tap into some of these proceeds because it's a regional draw, and certainly Callander residents are spending their money at the Cascades Casino?
As far as I know, we cannot do that. We asked before it was already built if we could share in those, because we are so close to it that we might be sharing in some of the downsides of a casino. But as far as we know, we are not available to receive any funds. But with it being so close to our community and a potential hotel going there, I do see the opportunities that it affords us in building, having a place to stay, another tourist draw to our community, and using it in that fashion, marketing that it's only 2 minutes up the road from our beautifully quiet, safe town, and using it as in that capacity.
Daryl.
Thank you. So the way it works with the casino is the host community will get 5% of the revenues, and we've seen, in the local media, the amount was actually quite staggering. When you first saw it, I believe it was in the area of $400,000 for the first month of operation. Mr. Noon is correct in the sense that we can't receive funds directly because that's tied up in agreements that say it's for the host community. Now, with that being said, we have every ability to sit with the city of North Bay and have those conversations. Is there anything that we can do together? Maybe it's not just a check. Maybe they help us in other ways. Maybe there's things that we can do together. So I believe in talking with them. Again, it's that good neighbor thing that I was talking about, where we sit down, we say, listen, here's an opportunity that we both may have. And it can't be one-sided either. I should mention that. If we go simply hat in hand and we want you to write a check, I think our reception is probably not going to be so great. But if we say, here's what we can do together and it benefits everybody. Another thing that we have the ability to do is actually talk to Cascade Casinos directly. They do a lot of sponsorship for a lot of events, and let's not forget, they're also a business. They got to watch their bottom line too. But we have Cranberry Day, we have Summerfest. There's a lot of things that can happen. There's our volunteer fire department folks that put on great events. And we should be approaching them to say, can you help us directly with these things?
Over to Gay.
Thank you. I believe that it was in 2019, I had a conversation with the former Mayor Heck Leving. I had met with him regarding another issue, and he was just coming from having a meeting with the City of North Bay regarding this very issue, and he was very frustrated that there was absolutely not going to be any give on this. And not that at this point there couldn't be a revisiting of this issue, but I back when those contracts were being signed and those decisions were being made, that piece of the ship has sailed. But absolutely, it is worth opening up and having that discussion. One of the things that I had mentioned last night is that we can take advantage, or we could take better advantage as a business community by supporting the businesses with improved signage into our area to attract the spin-off business of the casino and all the traffic into the area, to invite people to come and enjoy our downtown and waterfront.
We're going to move on to the next question. The municipality of Callander is quite large geographically. How would you ensure that rural Callander plays a key role in the growth of the municipality? And this is going to go to Daryl first.
I've had that conversation out in the rural areas as well, and one of the predominant feelings that people have outside of the core of the community is that there's a sense that there's not an equitable distribution of the funds to the community. So the perception is, and I think there is some reality to this, that most of our funds, most of our tax dollars go to the core of the community. And generally speaking, there's nothing wrong with that. However, when you get out to some of the more rural areas, I've been walking virtually all of them, driving them. There's some of the roads that have been improved, but there's still lots and lots of work to be done out there. And again, this is a balance. We only have an $8 million operating budget. Our capital budgets aren't endless either, so we have to prioritize these things. And especially when you get to roads in any community, it's important that they're graded scientifically. It can't be just somebody says that this road is rough. So they usually get graded by 3 categories, and then those reports come to council, and then you make decisions on good, hard facts instead of what perception is. I think they need to feel included. I have heard also that communication, now that might be a little bit more for the entire community, but I did hear it a little bit more loudly out in the rural areas. So we have to work on that. I do believe that, there's the website, believe it or not, we don't have Instagram, and as strange as that seems, we've heard that that's a gap in our communication piece. And as your mayor, when there's an issue that you have, I will be at your doorstep. When we had some challenges lately, I was at the people's doorstep. I wanted to know what was happening. I wanted to know that I cared, and I will continue to do that as the leader of the community.
Over to Gay. How would you include rural Callander in the role of growth of the municipality?
So a couple of things, and thank you for this question. It really does boil down to that old adage of the city mouse versus the country mouse. And the people who are living outside of the settlement area do feel that they are not being cared in the same way as the residents that are in the settlement area. And so we need to be very careful, and especially if we are looking at the conditions of the roads, there's plans for systematic infrastructure renewal, whether it's through the asset management plan, whether that is through resurfacing a road or grading a road. Those are all set out in the plan already for regular updates and maintenance and renewal. And so that has to be followed. So in order to be able to do that, we have to ensure that money from the $8 million revenue that we have in our capital plan upgrades, we have to ensure that we are not spending money frivolously somewhere else so that we get off of that system. We have to ensure that we stay with the infrastructure, road repair, and upgrade maintenance system.
Over to Rob.
Thank you. We've always been trying to support the tourist industry. I think that's one of the big things that I want to continue to do, is support that tourism. Give the tourist industry some place to go with the tourists that come. Ensure that the infrastructure is there, the roads are good. We developed the Cranberry Trail, and that was one of the things that the tourists could go to show the people that partake, that come to them, that there are things to do within Callander, not just go fishing. The community center is another thing that we built up, that we have to spend more time and energies into ensuring that it's always maintained with the ice rink, etc. But really get together with the community out there and see what they need and what they want built out there. We extended the beautification out to the Tillicum Bay Road there with our flags and that. And the next extension is inside. Again, bringing us all together, that we are all one town. I spent numbers of years playing hockey out there. So I was out there half my time. So I do understand a lot about out there. It's just, I hear that they like the people that live out there. Well, we like the space, we like this. So I hear it from both sides. I also want to look into developments. The government doesn't make it easy to make developments like subdivisions that aren't on your municipal water system. There are new technologies out there that can help develop communities that have their own. And that's something AMO's looking into now, and I think that's something we should be supporting, to allow the development to be out there and draw more and more people to our rural areas.
We have reached the part of the program for closing statements. The three mayoral candidates will each have 3 minutes, and we're going to do reverse order as the opening statements. So we head back to candidate Rob Noon for 3 minutes, up to 3 minutes for a closing statement.
Thank you. In closing, I have been honored to be your mayor for the past 2.5 years. And they were tough 2.5 years, from the loss of our past mayor Hector Levine and Councillor Maurice Turgeon, and having to face COVID head on. It was difficult on us all, but thanks to my many years of experience on council, I was prepared and able to lead our municipality confidently through these trying times. From leading our emergency management team to leading council, the municipality never skipped a beat. We were always prepared, never shut down, and continued to deliver the services that everyone needed through these unprecedented times. And I'd like to thank my team for their confidence in my abilities and their tremendous efforts and support through these times. And kudos to our residents at the way they stuck together, shopped local, and treated everyone with respect. No matter what vision or plan we have, it will take a strong leader to ensure that vision and plan continues forward and implement to its fullest potential. Fund it accordingly and continue to have community input to ensure we remain on the proper path. I believe I am that leader. Throughout my years on council, I have pushed forward numerous ideas like the beautification ideas, the planters, flags, benches, and now the snowflakes along Main Street. Building trails like Cranberry Trail, helping the Discovery routes, and Trans-Canada Trail. Ensuring the MTO paved the bike path shoulder on Highway 654 when they redid the road. Revitalizing Centennial Park with new improvements like the splash pad and sunshades, and now the boardwalk. I have proven time and time again that I have had the leadership abilities to work with different councils and staff over the years to achieve our goals. I also introduced budget changes like reserve levels and policy changes, ensuring we have saved enough money for future demands and unforeseen challenges that seem to always occur. And most of all, planning. Plan everything so that there was never any waste of taxpayer money. Planning always allows for a stable tax rate, so there are no sudden tax spikes in taxes. I'm a leader that is experienced and understands the value of a team that works together in the best interest of our community, and I have assembled that team. I hope to be fortunate enough to continue in the role of your mayor and work with this amazing group of people to make sure our community's needs are met and that our plan is carried forward and realized. A beautiful, progressive town for our residents and visitors alike. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. That is candidate Rob Noon. We will shift to Gay. Gay, up to 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you to Clark Heipel and to your TV for making this debate possible. And thank you to my fellow candidates for the opportunity to openly discuss issues that are important for the residents of Callander. I am a leader who has the experience and skill to keep Callander Callander. I'm a politically savvy leader that is fair and prioritizes issues, and I won't be derailed by others with strong intentions. I am a leader who has intelligent leadership experience, solid academic credentials, as well as a proven track record. I will account publicly for decisions made. I will listen to constituents and read and understand all documents. I know how to apply municipal and provincial governance structure. I've managed many large budgets, far larger than the one that we have here in Callander. I have extensive capital planning, building, facility, and operations experience, and I value communication that is clear, timely, and transparent. I have a solid vision for the future. I know that one person can't know everything. What I do know is that I am smart enough to know to consult with experts and consider all of the data before a decision is made. As mayor, when decisions are made for the residents of Callander, they will reflect what's best for the future of Callander. I'm ready to serve the residents of Callander as their mayor. I am passionate about Callander and have the expertise to lead the municipality into the future. I'm up for this job and ready to work for you. On October 24th, 2022, I ask for your support. Let's keep Callander Callander. Vote Smiley for mayor. It's time for a change.
Thank you, Gay. That is mayoral candidate Gay Smiley. And we now head to Daryl. You have up to 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. I'm a fiscally responsible, progressive leader focused on growth and community investment. Our family has made Callander our home because, like you, we think it's an amazing place to live. But I'm worried about Callander's future. I'm worried that our taxes are on the verge of drastic increases, especially with all of the wish list capital projects being promoted and suggested by some. There seems to be a lot of big dreaming and no idea how to pay for it. As your mayor, my first order of business will be to meet with the new council and start building team. We must bring this group together and get ourselves pointed in a common direction. And once we're all pointed in that common direction, our next top priority are the operating and capital budgets. This is arguably the most important work of council, the CAO, and staff, and time must be invested to get it right. We will review every single line item in all budgets. If it's taxpayers' dollars being spent, it will be scrutinized. We must stay focused on investing our tax dollars wisely. As your mayor, I will prioritize infrastructure and capital projects that put critical community needs ahead of premature wants. I will work with council and staff to actively pursue new business opportunities that respect the charm and small town experience that defines us. And why is community growth so important? A municipality essentially has two main revenue sources, taxes and user fees. And if we don't have any growth or minimal growth, our revenues will flatten while our expenses continue to increase. This is a recipe for guaranteed large tax increases, and the only alternative is cutting services. And no one wants services cut. So planned and complementary infill growth is vital to our future as a viable community. Community investment is equally important. Our roads, the pipes in the ground, the sewage lagoon, parks, the marina, the community center, the museum, and the library are all assets that need ongoing investment. I believe in long-term planning. I believe in maintaining what we have before building something new. And I believe in making the right decisions for the right reasons. So for many more details on these important issues, please visit my website at darylvinecourt.com. And on October 24th, I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
That is mayoral candidate Daryl Vinecourt. Thank you, Daryl. We had candidate Daryl Vinecourt, candidate Gay Smiley, and candidate Rob Noon join us this evening. I would thank each and every one of you for a respectful and healthy debate of important topics that affect Callander residents. Thank you all. This has been Your TV, Your Vote. But our coverage of the municipal election is just getting started because on election night, October 24th, we will be going live at 8 p.m. for extensive coverage concerning the North Bay and Callander results. So we hope that you join us then. And if you're watching this in a rebroadcast, you can also check out the North Bay mayoral candidates debate on our social media channels as well. So please make an informed decision, review all information that you have, and be sure to vote on October 24th. For the volunteers, for the staff, and for the production crew here at Your TV, I wish to thank everyone for tuning in, and don't forget to vote on October 24th. Stay safe and have a pleasant evening.